and we're going to be bearing the responsibility to continue to improve them and fix them and patch them versus keeping them on the state road. And that's my concern with it.
I think they should be pushed to Route 30 also.
Well, we do have to design for 80,000 pounds, so legal.
Yeah.
We have to design, but we do not have to do overweights, and we do not do overweights except on very limited circumstances. So we have some measure of control, but not a lot of control. Legal loads can still look
Even that, when we weight limit something, we're given a signed ticket, we're not giving them
Yes.
overweight ticket
Correct.
per se.
Well,
That would be much
you
less.
see something going on.
Oh, I understand that. But when you make it 5 lanes wide and you connect to 53, they're going to come down that road.
It should be long.
We're all gonna go straight instead of turning left. Mike?
Yeah, so in District 7, I know Bell and 143rd is your priority, is the busiest intersection, probably of all intersections in Homer. That's all county, including state. And then I know the 143rd construction is going to be over 4 different periods, but which is strange to me, and this is new because it seemed like it flipped. The Bell to Parker section is the last section you're going to work on, according to this, which is 6 to 8 years out, which doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to do the 143rd intersection, that seems to be the first section you should do of the 4, because that's where the highest concentration of traffic is. I know you have traffic coming off of 355, but you do already have that to Gauger already expanded, so at least it gives a time for them to get into the 2-lane configuration. But coming off of Bell Road, you're going to go right into a 2-lane where you have all the retail and all of the heavy subdivisions. It seems that that should be the first section done, and I thought it was at one point.
At one time, it was, but Bell and 143rd has drawn on so long. The feeling is, by the time that project would be ready, we'll still be doing Bell and 143rd. So
Really?
we want to
6
start
to
on
8 years?
Bell and 143rd is probably a 2 or 3 year project once we get going.
And you don't think we'll get going for another 4 years?
After we go over there at 30 west of Seymour.
Because you're saying, you put the Parker to Bell section, and you're saying that's 6 to 7 years out? That's in your long-term one, page 2.
Yes.
So you're saying those 2 projects there are 6 to 7 years out?
Yes.
Which means you wouldn't be doing Parker and Bell for 6 to 7 years, even if you started in 2 years and it's a 2-year project. You'd be done with the whole Bell Road, and then you're going to start tearing up the piece right next to us. It seems that one should jump ahead.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think since those are the outlying years, we need to see how these other projects finally come to fruition, and then we can prioritize. I'm not saying we can't flip them again. I'm just saying there's some consideration as to having one project right on top of the other, which you can't really avoid on Bell in some cases. But
Right, that's what I'm saying. Tear that up all at once. So
Jeff, can you summarize? Any more discussion on this? We still got a couple more big items to come up here. At least one more.
I think we have addressed everything on there. The list at the bottom on the second page just shows some of the projects we're going to have applied for or will be applying for funding. And then what we will be including in the tip next time, which isn't on here, is the Manhattan Moni Richmond I-57, because we passed that IGA with Moni last month or 2 months ago. We are starting that phase 1. So we are moving ahead with that particular project. It's not in the tip, but an opportunity came up with a municipality partner and we're going to go after federal funding. So we're moving forward with that project. So you'll see that in the next tip.
All right, tell us about the Illinois Association of County Engineers.
All right, that one, don't get scared by the numbers, they are big. The Illinois Association of County Engineers, which I am a part of, all 102 county engineers are, they have been studying for years now the needs of the state, well, not the state, but the county and township system. And these 650 million new annual revenue is what they have come up with through a lot of studies, which we can provide you at another time. That's what they need to get the system so that we can maintain it. Because the motor fuel tax system has not been sustainable. We're now only getting about 53% back on our return with motor fuel tax. So to get us back on par, according to their studies, there needs to be an additional 650 million annually. They also came up with another number, 3.2 billion, to account for the 80,000 pound law that was passed many years ago. We've never been able to catch up to that. The local system hasn't. So to address those concerns, they're saying another 3.2 billion would be needed for that. So what I've done, and they also show on here, that amount of money would need to go back through the motor fuel tax distribution. Not necessarily motor fuel tax. We're not saying it has to be an increase in motor fuel tax, although that would be the best in our opinion, but if we get more money, it needs to be distributed in this fashion so that it's equal. So that the counties get a fair share, and the townships get a fair share. The townships get very, very little. And there's going to be a capital bill or revenue bill coming up in the near future. Everyone hears about that. And they may ask for projects, which we can certainly provide, but the county engineers as a whole, we need a revenue stream. So if you hear of a capital bill and you have kind of talk about to legislators about it, we need a revenue bill, something that's consistent revenue. If we bond a whole bunch, the townships, they're not going to be able to apply and get a lot of this. Some of them only get a couple thousand MFT a month. They can't do a lot of that, so they need a bump in the revenue stream. So that's what this is kind of focusing on. So what I was asked to do, which is the second attachment, was a map just showing some projects. If we get the 650 million annual revenue, the county would get 19.6 million, and then those would be additional projects we could put forward, given that money in the same time frame of our 5-year plan, or 6-year plan actually. So we could increase our projects by doing that. The 3.2 billion came forward, those 3 additional projects could be added in as well. So I'm just giving some examples of what the additional money could do.
So, did the county engineers, did you do a calculation of the fuel tax you need to be?
Well,
And the reason I'm saying is that, you know, you can put this down, but you have to say, well, it would require, whatever, 25 cents a gallon.
25 cents would be the number, but there are so many variables. If the distribution doesn't stay the same, or if the state takes more, or if there's so many variables, I don't know if the 25 cents would hold.
You know, everybody agrees that, you know, I don't want anybody that says they're against infrastructure, improved roads and so forth, but nobody wants to see them come up with the revenue source. Yeah, nobody wants to, the politicians don't want to take the political chance, that includes even people at our level. So that's a hurdle. You know, I tend to be willing to do motor fuel taxes, support it, as long as 100% of all motor fuel taxes, the current and additional, go to roads and nowhere else. No money gets diverted anywhere else, like it has in the past. So I mean, that's I think, you know, something that absolutely the state has to say that not $1 be diverted. So that's, you know, so it is a more complex issue. The other thing I wanted to point out, the township roads ultimately are the responsibility of the county. Right? I mean, if they abandon it, they say we don't have a highway district, they're your roads, correct?
No, the statute doesn't give us any authority on their roads. If they abandon them, they have to hire a new road commissioner to take care of them.
What if the road commissioners are eliminated? Like
There are some bills.
there's a big push now to eliminate
Yes.
highway commissioners throughout,
Yes.
at least not throughout the state, but the metro area here.
Correct.
What would you do? Are the county roads?
Depends on how the statute's written. Some of them would go to the counties, the municipalities have an option to take it, or the county, the board, the trustee board themselves would then be responsible, and then they could contract out or whatever. It depends on how the statute will be written.
Who voluntarily take roads?
You can't force it down people's throats sometimes.
The county, our county DOT would be hard pressed to take such.
I guess that's the point.
Rachel had a question in the back.
Yeah, Jeff, has the county looked at doing like a cargo fee or container fee for everything that comes into the county to help pay for some of these projects?
I don't know if the county has a result that our department
We
has.
don't have the statutory
Yeah,
authority.
we're not a home rule community, we wouldn't have the
It
authority.
deals with free trade zones and international trade and interstate trade, and evidently, we don't have the authority to put any tax on containers.
All right, is that it for that issue?
I don't have anything else.
Let's get to the big ones.
Okay, number 3, right?
Number 3, county engineers discussion, approval of 1-year extension of the Build Will Phase 2 consultant program coordinator as allowed under resolution 18-16, section 17.3.
Yeah, so last year, contract was secured with HR Green to do our Phase 2 project management. That means when the plans come in, they review them for the finer details. All that is under Eric Bussell, our Phase 2 project manager. He oversees that contract. So it's a 3-year contract. In each subsequent year, as per what the section I think I pointed out, 17.3, upon my recommendation and then the approval of the Public Works Committee, we can extend for 1 more year. So we've gone through 1 year. This will be the 2nd year term of the 3-year total. So I'm recommending that we continue using HR Green moving forward for this continuing year.
So a motion is second, discussion. What do you estimate our cost for the first year of the contract was? You know, it's up to $1 million something.
Now, $1 million and change is the cap.
But
We
what do
may
you
have
think,
utilized,
I know it doesn't expire until March, but what do you realistically think that total is gonna be? And then what do you think it's gonna be this coming year? You think we could hit that $1 million, or do you think it's gonna be some number that's
we will be under. We won't go over.
substantially?
Yes, it could be somewhere around the $600,000 range.
And point out, you know, HR Green was brought on because we were getting bogged down. We didn't have the internal staff to do all the reviewing, and therefore we weren't getting the projects done. So, the more money that's spent with them means more projects are getting done.
Well,
So I wouldn't
wanna
look
know-
at just the dollar amount. The whole idea was is that we could accelerate the project. So the more projects, I guess the more.
I'm not saying it's an unfair number, I just want an expectation of what we're voting on, we have some idea what it could be.
Well, I'm just pointing out that, you know, well, Jeff would know.
We budgeted for the entire amount. Now, I do not believe we will hit that number, no.
Well,
Coming
to all the
in.
projects? We won't, in other words, we're not gonna get to all the projects, is what you're saying.
No, we're just not
It
going
doesn't necessarily mean you did or didn't get done the project.
Well, we're getting to the design of it now, whether we build them, that's a
Right,
different
yeah.
story, so.
Some of the items in their contract is construction management to some degree, right?
Yeah, if we're short on construction management, we can utilize them. If we're short on some other design, we can utilize them. So we do have some other options in there.
All right, a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mike, did you?
I was just gonna say, we did budget for that amount this year, for the max.
Okay.
We have come in under in the past, so.
Okay, any opposed? Motion passes.
I do have one more thing real quick,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman. Wasn't able to get on the agenda quick enough, but the Will County, we've been able to establish a public meeting for the 143rd Street corridor, which Mike was alluding to, so that will bring to conclusion in the next few months, the Phase 1 study for that start extension. Then we can start working on Phase 2, the actual design. So it's scheduled for March 12th, 2019, 4 to 7 p.m. I'll pass this notice around. You'll probably get a copy, at least the board members in that district.
where is it?
They'll be coming around. It's at the Crystal Gardens Banquets in Lamont. So I'll pass this around so you can actually get the actual notice. Just wanted to bring that to your attention that that's coming up. If you want to see what the corridor is going to look like or where we're at, that would be a good opportunity.
All right. State's attorney discussion,
School with miles.
I had nothing.
nothing.
School with miles.
Monthly work reports and Bill Will reports. Our attached reports by committee members. Anyone? Public comment. Public comment. Public comment. Jeff, there was a question yesterday at Forest Reserve about Route 6 and Belva Road, what the time frame is on that. Forest Reserve Committee yesterday moved to the full Forest Preserve board meeting the approval of the temporary easements to that intersection to IDOT. So,
Okay.
you know.
That's great, because that was the last item that I'm aware of that they needed to get done before they could go to letting. I think you see some utilities already out doing work.
So it's
So if that parcel is coming to fruition, we're going to get closed, they should be able to do something in this spring, summer.
we'll vote
We
on
can
it
check.
next Thursday, but didn't seem to have any opposition yesterday, so.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I have nothing for my chairman's report, executive session. Mr. State's Attorney, anything? No? No. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Motion. Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next meeting will be March 7th, 2019, at 9 a.m. in this room.